Okay. Hello and welcome everyone. Very good afternoon. So I'm Shahista Gilani. I am a software developer and I have been in software development space for about 15 years now. I have worked in various organizations on various tools and technologies and processes. And I'm passionate about extreme programming practices and software craftsmanship and technical excellence. And I also deeply believe in the power of agile ways of working. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about the core principles which foster agility in software development through a story. The story is titled Alice in Agile Wonderland. So this is Alice, a developer who inadvertently falls into this Agile Wonderland. And therein she sees that the things are different. The ways of working in this Wonderland is very much different. It's better, it's happier, and it's able to fetch more value to the organization and also to the customers. So this story is all about this developer's journey of discovering agile ways of working. So first, let's see who is Alice. How is she? So Alice is very intelligent. Yeah, she's a developer. She's very curious, she likes to explore things. She has many questions. She thinks very deeply, and she's very she likes to observe and she likes to explore. Okay, so now there's a special thing. She also has this bag, which is a treasure bag. So throughout her journey of experiences and learnings, whatever she learns, she keeps in this treasure bag, so that she can keep this learning for a long while. Okay. So now, just a brief background. So Alice, when she enters this wonderland, she has this quest for excellence, that I want better. I want to be the best developer. A better developer, according to her, was by improving her technical skills, by reading more, by practicing more, by learning more and more technologies and programming languages and doing a lot of certifications. So that was her notion of becoming better at development. Okay. And now let's get into the story and see what she discovers, what she experiences, and how does her mindset change. So the story has got 5 chapters. Before beginning each chapter, we have a keyword. So if at all you can type in this keyword in the chat, we can unlock this chapter and move forward. So for chapter number 1, the keyword is why. So can you please quickly type in why in the chat box? Excellent. Okay, so let's move on. So the situation is that Alice is very excited to start coding. This is a new organization for her. And she's like, okay, let me just jump in right into the work. But then she sees this business terms, which are very much domain specific. And she thinks, okay, never mind. I think I can keep this aside. Just give me the technical requirements and I can code. Okay, and product manager says, welcome to the world of product development. It's not just coding here. So over a period of time, what she observes happening in this wonderland, how is it done differently here, is that, it's not just the business people, not just the business analysts or the PMs who are involved in the discussions with the customers. Even the engineering team, okay, they are brought in this deep discussions with the customer to understand what is their need, what is their requirement, right? And organization has many cool platforms such as customer connect programs and idea labs, so that they can hear what are their customers wanting. So there are many such platforms so that they can hear from the customer sides and not just the boring and the formal enhancement request process. So she sees all these things and she learns that, as a developer, I'm here not to just write lines of code. My job, this is not a hackathon, okay, wherein we are trying to solve some hypothetical problem. Here we are dealing with a real problem which the customers are facing, and we are trying to build a solution to that, and not just writing lines of code. Okay. And so knowing the customers, their business, their pain points, that actually helps in building a better solution. So herein she learns that it's not just what do I need to work on, what do I need to code, but it is why. Why are we doing what we are doing? Why are we even working on this? Why are we building this piece of work? So in this way, she learns the importance of why. So as here, it's one of the interesting tweets, which says that solve the problems you have and not the ones you imagine. So many times we assume certain problems and we work towards solving that. But what she realizes is that it's important to always validate the problem. It's always good to know the customers and their real problems and not just assume the things. So knowing why is what she learns. And so this is a very good extract from the real Alice in Wonderland story, which connects very well to this point which we are speaking about. So Alice says, I don't even know what a mock turtle is. It's the thing mock turtle soup is made from, said the queen. I never saw one or heard of one, said Alice. Come on then, said the queen, and he shall tell you his history. So it's like a mock turtle in this part is something imaginary. She never had a real interaction with that. She never knows all the details about it. Then how can she do something with respect to that? Okay. So now this brings us to our next chapter. So the key to this chapter is the word team. So I would request you to please type the word team in the chat box. Okay, so now let's move on. So now Alice learns about the business part, the importance of knowing the business and the customers. Okay, now she says, okay, I'm ready to work now. Give me a dark, gloomy place in some corner office or corner place and give me a do not disturb mode and I'm ready to work. Okay, because developers generally like to work in isolation, in silos, right? All alone. So she says, I have always worked alone. I'm an individual contributor. Assign me a task and I shall do it. And there was another instance where she says, oh, I am expert in this particular piece of work. Why should I share my knowledge? You know, I want to take the credit. I want to be the hero. And in the third instance, she says, oh, this is my code. I have written it. No one can touch my code. So she develops that personal thing with the code. Me, right? So this was her frame of mind when she enters. But now, over a period of time, when she sees the things happening differently in this wonderland, she observes that, you know, there's a concept of team, which doesn't come into picture only during the team lunches and the team building activities. They always work together and they share the knowledge, they grow together. It's like share and grow kind of culture. And they have a lot of practices such as pair programming, team swarming, which helps them to work collaboratively, not just work in one after the other, like in a traditional waterfall model. And there's nothing like senior developer, junior developer. Everybody can equally contribute their ideas and their approach. So this feeling of working in a team, right, is what she learns. So, and she also learns that there's nothing like my code, your code. It's like we collectively own this code. As a team, we are here to work together on a piece of work and not individually. Though the title is individual contributor, there's nothing like you're really an individual working on a single piece of work. So again, I would like to read out loud this tweet from Alan Holub, whom I appreciate a lot. He says, you know, I get a bit tired of people who say, I hate mobbing, I'm an introvert. Introverts aren't antisocial. So it's like many times we have this myth, right? So I'm a developer, I like to do only the backend work, just give me that space. I'm not social, I'm not extrovert. So he says that it's nothing to do with being social. I mean, nothing to do with being introvert. right? You're not antisocial. As a human being, we all are social beings. So in fact, the concept of team gives us a space, safe space wherein we can discuss, we can um, come out, we can speak out our ideas and our approach loudly, right? And it's a safe space to work. So now she takes a step ahead. Okay, teamwork is fine. She's comfortable with working in her own team. Now what happens? So there's a situation where she comes across the integration work. She says, what? We do the integrations? There's no separate integration team? And these integrations with other components had always been painful in the past. So how do we manage dependencies here? So now she realizes that it's not just her team working on a particular product. That product is made up of many components, many such teams, right? And in the Wonderland, it's completely collaborative work. People collaborate across functions, not just within the team, but across the functions, across the teams. So that the idea is that to the customer, when we deliver something, it doesn't go out in pieces. It goes out as an integrated whole. Okay, and even for the people who are working in that organization, everyone understands the big picture of the work. They understand the end-to-end flow, and not just only their piece of work. So this is the concept of working in a cross-functional team or multidisciplinary team, which she learns. So this is a wonderful, interesting tweet, which I would like to read here. So Jason here says that I have done my part. I'm not responsible for yours. Is what the leak is on your side of the boat actually sounds like. So it's a boat. If there's a hole, if there's a leak in the boat, that means everyone is in danger. We can't ignore that leak. So it's a complete product. It's not just your component which you need to focus on or worry about. So try to get, as a developer, you must try to get the entire big picture of what we are trying to do here. Okay, she learns this collaboration across functions, and she's very happy because she knows why we are doing this, and she even learns a lot from this collaborative work, and she is having the sense of autonomy, this freedom in with respect to with respect to the decisions, the design decisions, the decision to choose the tools, the working style, and everything. Okay, and she experiences, I mean, she's very happy now because from a lone developer, she sees that there's a shift in her way of working, that she's now working in a team, in a bigger community. So she gets this sense of belongingness, okay? And she experiences this culture of openness where she gets a safe space to try out the things. She can express her concerns, and she gets enough support and guidance from the manager. Manager is not there just to ask for the status, but to support the work. And there is a trust and respect in the team. So she is now really, she feels very empowered and very happy to work in this kind of environment. Now what happens? Let's see in the chapter number 3. So can you please type in the word value to unlock this chapter number 3? So by the picture, we see that Alice looks a little confused here. So let's see what comes up in Alice's life. Okay, so now the situation is that she knows the why, she knows the business part, she knows how to work in a team. She's their team is very enthusiastic. And what happens in this enthusiasm? They take up a lot of work. They said, yes, we can do this. We can do this as well. This piece of work is pretty small. Maybe we can even pick that work. So what happens is that, you know, they end up picking up lot of work, and they have done a bit of everything in all of these units of work, but they haven't really finished anything at all. So it's like going for a buffet and taking many things on a plate, but leaving at the end, leaving it unfinished. It's not a clean plate at the end. So that is the situation here. So this is a very big problem. So what she learns, what she observes happening differently in this Wonderland is that, the team picks up only a unit of work, a small chunk of work. And during the entire iteration, the sprint, the focus is only towards that unit of work. Everyone in the team tries to move that piece of work towards the completion. So everyone is focused here. Okay, so she learns the concepts of having low work in progress, okay, limiting the work in progress, and the importance of done, right? So stop starting and start finishing is what a very good mantra which she learns during this journey. And having a very clear goal, short term as well as long term. Okay. Okay, so now, okay, she learns about focus. So what next? So she's thinking now. Thinking again, the Duchess asked with another dig of her sharp little chin. I have a right to think, said Alice sharply, for she was beginning to feel a little worried. Just about as much right, said the Duchess, as pigs have to fly. So now, now Alice says, okay, this is all fine. I'm learning this concept of focus, of picking up only limited work in hand. But then, what? She says, we are not getting utilized properly. There is no good productivity in the work which we are doing. Are we doing enough is what she thinks. Okay. And then what she learns is that, we are not doing a factory work here. The software development is not like the factory work where we give some input, say 10 kgs of raw material translates into 10 boxes of output. That is not what we are trying to do. Software development is different. It's a knowledge work and the domain is complex in the sense we do not know many things upfront, only when we get into it, right? When we start working on it, we discover more and more about it. There are a lot of unknowns, a lot of uncertain things. So this knowledge work, okay, we cannot just go about productivity, about resource utilization. Those concepts will not work here. So what is important in this context, in the context of software development, which is a knowledge work, is value optimization. So given, okay, we cannot forget that, but we have to acknowledge that this is a knowledge work. Things are going to change. Things are going to be unclear in the starting. But given all these constraints, right, still, if we focus on value optimization and we try such that at the end of that iteration, we come up with some valuable portion which is of real meaning to the customers, then our job is good. So we cannot measure in terms of just output, but by the outcome. How can we deliver something meaningful at the end of the that particular iteration? And this is a wonderful tweet which I would like to talk about. So Keith Williams says that I had the warm fuzzies last week on seeing a team's burn down and sprint board looking busy and well organized. So the sprint board is very much like, it looks like there are too many items. It's like people are very much busy and they're doing a lot of things, right? Then I realized that I had become that person who's impressed by the theater and not the outcome. So it's just like a theater. People are busy, people are moving here and there. But are they producing something valuable outcome out of it is the question. So from now on, warm fuzzies only on customer satisfaction. Okay. So this is what she realizes. And this is a very important thing which she puts in her treasure bag. Okay. So moving on to chapter number 4. So the key word to put in the chat is change. Let's talk about the change here. So before this, I would just like to quickly recap the 3 chapters. First one was importance of why, the business, or knowing the business and the customers. The second chapter was about working in a team and collaborating across the functions. Chapter number 3 was about focusing and making sure that we deliver value. Okay, so I think we are ready for chapter number 4 now. So now Alice is like, okay, I know the teamwork. I have learned to work in a team, and I learned the focus part of it. We have ultimately we have come up with this piece of work, and she is demoing it to the customers. And what happens? The customer says, maybe we do not want it in this way. She says, what? We don't want it in this way? But we worked hard, really hard to figure this out. Right? So now she's a little upset, because all the team's effort, she sees that all this effort which we have put in, is it waste? Like, what happens now? This is like 1,000 lines of code which we have written. You're saying you don't want it at this point of time? Okay. So now, but later, right, over a period of time, what she observes is that, she sees that the organization, the Wonderland, they welcome the change. They try to be very adaptable to the customer's changing needs. Sometimes that may mean even discarding the complete code. It may mean discarding the entire week's efforts. And to minimize this, what happens is that they show their work frequently after each iteration, as frequent as possible. They show their work to the customers to get their early feedback. Okay. And she sees that customers are the center of everything. So if there's a change request coming from the customers, it is welcomed. It's not pure like contract basis, like it's not a pure, what do we call it, SLA, that, okay, this was not in the contract, this was not in the as a part of agreement. It's more of collaboration over contract negotiation. This is the agile principle she learns. Okay, the importance of short feedback loops, the customer centricity, so that we are not rigid, but we are welcoming the change and working in this incremental and iterative way, which allows us to have frequent points of inspect and adapt, so that we get many opportunities to get feedback from the customer and to course correct. Here, I would like to read out this wonderful tweet from Codemanship, which says, once upon a time, a bunch of smart software developers figured out that everything we do is experiment, a throw of dice. So they asked, hey, what could give us more throws of dice? So it's like whatever we are doing within that sprint, it's not guaranteed that it will be accepted as is. It's just like a throw of dice. It's like an experiment. It may be accepted as is. It may be, we may be asked to do certain changes. So what can we do from our side is that just give more throws of dice. That means more opportunities to show and to get the feedback. Okay, this is one part which she learns in the change. And now what happens is that, she gets an invite, meeting invite. And she thinks, what? Yet another meeting? Oh no. But when she attends that meeting, when she participates in that meeting, what she understands is that this meeting, which is called a retrospective meeting, is a bit different. Here, what we are trying to do is we are trying to look back at the work which we have done. And we're trying to see how did it go? Like, how was the work? How was the way in which we have done the work? How were the interactions which we had among the team and across the team? What all happened during the iteration is being thought upon, and with a single goal of can we do better? Can we improve it in the upcoming going forward? Can we improve it? Okay, there's no thing like, okay, finger pointing or blaming thing. It's all candid conversations, all brainstorming thing, putting your head into thinking, how can we improve? And these changes, these points of improvement are not being imposed onto them by the manager or by any leadership, but it's been discussed and it's been proposed by the team itself. So this is yet another aspect which she understands and she really likes, that the change is not being imposed on them, that okay, you have to do it this way, but how can we do it better? Is please, I mean, you discuss and you reflect and you come up with the ideas of how can we do better. So she learns about continuous improvement here. Okay. And this is not just one-time activity, it's a continuous activity, ongoing activity. Okay. And here, if you see, this is a wonderful image and a tweet here. So too busy pulling the cart with square wheels to think about round wheels. Improving daily work is as important as daily work. So if we push, if we keep pushing the cart with that square wheels, saying that no, I have to finish the work, I have no time to think, I have no time to reflect, right? So what happens is that we miss on this great opportunity, and we keep doing the hard work which is of no real value. So improving or thinking upon how can we improve is as important as doing the daily work. Okay, this is all about change and improvement, the change suggested by the customer and the change which is coming from within the team. Okay. Okay. So now it's time for the last chapter, which we can unlock using the code craft. So I think Alice is learning a lot of things, at least 4 important concepts she has learned till now. And now is a time for her to master her craft. So Alice is working, she's coding, and then, you know what? She gets a comment saying that the variable name can be improved. She says, what's in the name, right? And the team says, you know, a good variable name makes the code understandable, even if you look at it after decades. So there is no flaw in the logic, in the syntax of the code, but you know, there are certain things which distinguishes, which makes you better at your craft. And craft is like any craft. If you look at any artist or any craftsperson, maybe a sculptor, right? So they take pride in their work, and they spend a lot of time, and they look at the nitty-gritties of it, and they are very particular about each and everything. It may be just a hammer, like how we finish it, right? That may not mean a lot to us, but as a craftsperson, as an artist who is taking pride in their work, right? It's very important to look at various aspects of programming. So she learns about, you know, the practices of clean code, the theory of the practice of refactoring, right? How to make it better and more readable, more maintainable. And she learns about various engineering practices, which comes from XP, and you know, the practices like test first development or the test driven development. So earlier it was just like, okay, testing is a part of QS job, but now what she learns is that it's not QS job. Testing should be inbuilt. It should be the code. The developers should think about the tests first before designing the code. That will help us in seeing that our code fulfills all the criteria, whatever is being expected. So this refactoring and working in pairs, right? Pair programming, mock programming, and all this wonderful technical practices, the engineering practices, helps her to really master her craft, to become a very good software craftsman, where she can take pride in her work. So one important thing to remember is that, you know, she learns that, you know, agility doesn't anytime means compromise on quality. though the focus many times moves towards the process part, but anytime if you're trying to make the software development agile, right? So we can't ever compromise on quality. And these technical practices helps us to be agile, because, for example, if you are designing the code, if you're writing a clean code, a well-designed code helps you to accommodate the changes with respect to the upcoming work very easily. So that means you can change very easily. You can change your code very easily. And that is the real agility, the technical agility, if you say. And Martin Fowler very well said that, any fool can write code that a computer can understand, but good programmers write code that humans can understand. And Jason Gorman says that, the evolution of a programmer, first stage is like telling the computer what you want it to do, like writing the instructions in terms of the coding, the programming language. The second stage is telling the computer what you want it to do in a way other programmers understand. Okay, so it's like a clean code and a very readable code, right? Well maintained. And the third stage is telling the computer what your customers wanted to do in a way other programmers understand. So not forgetting that the first learning that we are trying to build what the customers want in a way which other programmers can understand. So this is what makes a real software craftsman. So, so this is a quick summary of what all Alice has learned throughout her journey. Okay, she learns these core principles which will really help her in contributing towards agility in the software development. The importance of why, to be a team player, to deliver value by focusing, right? To welcome change, to think about continuous improvement, and to master her craft. So I think that's all I had as a part of the story. Thank you everyone for your time. And I'm open to questions. Thank you.